Good day and a warm welcome to everyone to The Going Concern. The Going Concern, a fortnightly talk show podcast where we answer your questions. Every 2 weeks, we hang around these microphones to talk about all your wonderful questions or issues, which include the weird, the wacky, and the wonderful. I am one of your hosts, Aaron Patrick, a chartered accountant, owner of a accounting firm called Boffix, and a QuickBooks certified trainer with a fancy new logo. And also that QuickBooks chat on the YouTubes. And joining me, as always, is my co-host, the one and only Rachel. How are you doing, Rachel?
Hi, everybody. My name is Rachel, and I am a TEDx speaker. I'm an author, I'm a business owner, and most importantly for today, I am an accountant. I am the founder of ACCOUNTANCY and director of Strivex Accountancy Practice, which I run with my amazing, beautiful, gorgeous fiance, Mr. James Harris. And today we have a cracker in store for you, but let's just really quickly run through exactly how this works. So we are live to the world at our regular time of 12:30 UK time. Every other Thursday, you can catch us. So if you are listening or watching back to this at a later time, why don't you think about diarising this, tuning in every other Thursday, and that way you can get involved with the show, send your questions in and chat to us live like Ashley is right now. No, Ashley, I never, ever do not smile. So we are now also on the podcasting services around the globe. So please do feel free, and we would really encourage you to subscribe on your podcasting service of choice. So we have had some amazing questions as usual for today's show. You guys absolutely have never disappointed us so far. Today, we've got questions ranging from how to balance AAT and working at the same time, what extra skills you should be looking to gain as a trainee accountant or someone that's looking for your first job in accountancy. And somebody also asked, what's the point of having an accountant if I'm using accounting software? Aaron's very excited to answer that one. So again, you can pop your questions in live. You can either pop them straight into the chat box and we'll get cracking straight away, or you can submit them through the link for us to pull through for next week. Aaron, I'm opening the mailbag. Are you ready?
I am more than ready. Let's get that first question going. Come on. I can tell it's going to be a good one. I'm already ready.
So this one's really interesting, and we're talking about moss, not the green moss on your roof. We're talking about the digital product and VAT moss. So somebody has asked, if I sell digital products online abroad, but I'm not VAT registered, do I have to submit moss returns? So firstly, Aaron, can you tell us what a moss return is?
I certainly can. So I think the first thing to remember about moss is it's regarding the European Union, so EU. So if you're going to sell to anyone or any country within the EU, so you've got France, Germany, all of those wonderful locations. And if you're going to sell a digital product to the EU, then you have the option. It's key to know it's an option. So you don't have to use the moss, but you have the option to file via moss. Now, what is moss and why is it even a thing? And why is it even something that you should be considering? Well, it's about making your life easier. So if moss didn't exist, and unfortunately you'd have to do a tax or a VAT return, should I say, in each of those individual countries. So France, Germany, Spain, wherever you sell your digital services to. But with using the moss solution and the moss scheme, then it is supposed to, and it does help massively in terms of your administration. And the idea then is, instead of having to do those individual VAT returns to individual countries, then you have the option just to be able to file one return to rule them all, and get them filed into those individual, and then the money will basically flow through to those individual countries on your behalf. So yeah, it's one of those where if you are selling digital products and you are going into the EU, then just take some time to consider moss as a solution. It isn't mandatory, so you don't have to do it that way. But the other option is that you have to file individual VAT returns for individual countries, which I don't think anyone would really want to do. I certainly, I know a bit of Francais, come on, tap à tout. That's as far as it really goes, really, on my language barriers for the rest of the EU. So yeah,
So if you're not VAT registered, do you still have to do it or not?
Well, this is where things got really complicated since 1st of July. So
Yeah.
basically, there was loads of different VAT registrations and everything else that you could go up to. The simple word is that at the moment they're trying to abolish that completely, and the reason they're trying to abolish it is to try and make it a level playing field. What they
Mm.
don't want, as in the EU, they don't want it to be that if someone is in Italy trying to sell the same service as someone outside of the EU, for example, they don't want it to be something that's going to make complications and make it so that it's unfair and make it so that one supplier will cost more than the other because of VAT and all that sort of stuff. So the idea is to try and level the playing field. So certainly with selling non-digital goods, so your normal kind of import duty and everything else, they are trying to level the playing field, and they're trying to do the same for digital as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a minefield at the moment, and if I'm honest, this is a place where we need software to help us more than ever.
Yeah.
So we need our digital platforms to up the game. I know actually Shopify has been really, really good at this. So if you're using kind of Shopify as your back end, they have a whole section that you can just turn on and it works perfectly. But we need the rest of them to catch up because ultimately, you don't want to be having to add the VAT on each individual sale that you're going
Mm-mm.
forward.
Amazing. So what's next, Aaron? What's the next question?
The next question. So the next question, I really, really like this question. I think sometimes I wish that we could actually say who it was, but no, we're going to keep it all anonymous. We're going to make sure that we don't give it too much. So, are there any other skills that you would advise that can be self-learned apart from QuickBooks Series and Excel that are directly related to what a trainee accountant would do from day to day? Thanks so much for the opportunity to ask a question. And just to say,
Oh.
you are very welcome. Rachel, go for it.
So Excel was going to be my number one. So I was just before we came on air, I was telling Aaron that yesterday, because it has been incredibly, incredibly frequently asked, is you guys really wanted to see. You guys love day in the life videos, but you guys really wanted to see, rather than my day in the life, what a day in the life would be like if you were an AAT apprentice. So yesterday we filmed and recorded a day in the life of an AAT apprentice within our practice. And we actually sat down and we had a little cup of tea and we chatted about things that they wish they knew before they started the apprenticeship. And Joanna, who is incredible, actually said she wished she knew how much she would rely on Excel within the job. And I
Yeah.
think it's something that is spoken about on job adverts, but actually it just would set you so far apart. And even just from our side as business owners, if someone was really excited and passionate about Excel, like that would be a huge, huge selling point for me. Like I absolutely, if you can't put it into a pivot table, it's not important to me. Like if you can't put it into a pivot table, I don't want to know about it. Is my view on life. Like the merch, don't let people spread sheet about you. And it's the passion for Excel. Sorry, I'm not sponsored by Microsoft, but
Yet.
yeah, Excel is the number one thing as on top of like accounting software for me that you could do to really, really set yourself apart. Like I feel like it's 2021, most people have a basic knowledge of most of the Microsoft products, but actually Excel is what sets you apart. And I would say that if you are looking for a job specifically in practice, but as well for industry, and you don't consider yourself really confident on Excel, you should definitely invest some time. There's loads of amazing free content on YouTube, which you can help. Like you don't have to pay to go onto a course. And actually, as an employer, I don't really mind if you've done it formally or informally. I care about what you can do. What about you, Aaron? What do you think? So the question was actually what other skills apart from QuickBooks Zero and Excel that are directly related to what a trainee accountant can do from day to day. And I just realized, I'm so sorry. One thing I missed is actually being able to write emails.
Yeah.
And again, we actually watched one in the office the other day. There is some incredible content on YouTube on like how to write really amazing emails, to the point where one of our employees in his own time watched this YouTube video, came in, and James actually said to him, Solomon, your emails are amazing. Like, what have you done? And he said, I've been watching these YouTube videos on how to write really, and it says what order you should be writing things in, making it very clear. If somebody has to do something, make it clear, when to copy someone in, when not to copy someone in. And like, that would really, really set you apart. What do you think, Aaron?
I think that those two are brilliant. And just to emphasize on that Excel one, just one little bit more as well, because I can't emphasize it enough. It's one of those where yes, people can say they know Excel because they've they can add a few things here and there, but
Yes.
really like please spend that time just exploring what it can do. You'll be so like you'll be blown away. I promise you,
Yeah.
if you've never really dived into Excel properly and what it can do. And it's not just Excel; it's now Google Sheets, it's
Mm.
Work, it's all the different ones that you'll see. They're all very very similar, but it's what it can do. I've built a whole system basically based on Google Sheets, and it's all about macros and if statements and vertical lookups and
I
every other
literally have
format.
probably like 4 times WhatsApped Aaron and said, "What software do you use for this?" And he just replies saying like, "I just built my own."
Yeah, just build it, and that's it. You start becoming like a little bit of an app developer in your own time, and you
Yeah,
start learning these little things. And I promise you, my career kind of the reason I got to where I got to today is because I was able to take Excel and just keep pushing it, like
yeah.
pushing it to its limits and finding ways to convert data from one format to another and all these wonderful wacky
Mm.
things that can be done. And again, like Rachel said, there's so much information out there that's great. Um, but I also think like what else you need. I personally, I really, really like that entrepreneurialism. Like that's something that we've really found has benefited our employees. Like if they just want to go out there and create their own little reselling company or their own little business, or they've worked in other industries before that they kind of
Yeah,
understand. Like some of the best apprentices we brought through the program have always been people who have been able to go, you know what, my boss was having the same problem with their VAT return, and now I understand why that was a problem. And
yeah,
just having that awareness, having that understanding, that business awareness is just so important because we we're accountants and we'll spend a lot of our time going, why hasn't our client sent in their VAT information by the deadline we put in there? But in reality, like if we know that client and we understand that client's needs, and you'll understand there is a reason, whatever that's going to be. And I think having that business awareness is so important, and it will make you really enjoy the job as well.
yeah,
So just have a go at have a go at having your own eBay store or whatever side business you've got some skills into.
yeah.
Just have a go at putting yourself out there and just understanding what those pain points that clients and the clients you're going to have are gonna be utilizing, and then you'll find that as great as software is, having that business awareness is always going to be one step above. So yeah, there's opportunities out there for everyone, I think.
That's actually a really, really good segue into the next question, which is this. I'm obsessed with this question. It's so good. What impact does accounting have on your personal life? Are you more cautious with money, and do you find yourself talking about it outside of work? I already know the answer, but Aaron, please tell me.
Well, from a personal life point of view, and this is
Do you have a
like,
personal life?
well,
I
that is a
don't.
great question there, Rachel. But it's not just about accountancy. This is about anyone who owns or has their own business and
Yeah,
and invested in their business, because you'll find that, and this is a great conversation topic you can have with clients, because a lot of clients, their first initial reason for moving to a business because of a lifestyle choice, and that's something you'll hear a lot of. But you'll find that most clients, they'll get so invested in that quote unquote lifestyle choice that yes, they had every intention of gaining an afternoon here or an afternoon there or whatever their intention was, but they'll mostly find that they're still doing far more work than they did when they had their 9 to 5 job. And that's
yeah. You quit your 9 to 5 to work 24/7, right?
yeah, exactly right, exactly right. And you know, it, there's reasons for it, and it's all about growth, and it's all about the multiple hats we have to wear and when we can wear those hats. And there's no kind of easy solution for it, but it is, and we only do it because we're passionate about it, and that's why we continue. So it doesn't feel like it's a 24/7 job. It feels like we're doing what we're passionate about, and then
Mm.
that should give us an opportunity to enjoy certain aspects of life. And that's how you kind of balance those between the two. The question about more cautious with money, though, I think me and Rachel are quite polar opposite on that one, because for me, if it's a business expense, it's bought, it's sold. If I can get a tax rebate on it, it's sold. And I'm pretty sure that from what I know of Rachel, she's still very much of a let's try and find a way to
I'm
achieve
from the
the same
north.
thing without spending.
Okay, I'm stingy.
But no, I don't think it ever would make you more cautious with money, but I think it's yeah, you learn to spend money on the right things, let's put it that way.
Yes, yeah.
What about you, Rachel?
Yeah, I'd say being an accountant has a phenomenal impact on my personal life. Specifically financially as well. And I'm not sure if this is being an accountant or being a business owner. I actually do think it's being an accountant.
Yeah.
It gives you the opportunity to really look into other people's businesses and like see what works well, see what doesn't work well. And for James and I, diversifying our income is a huge part of that. And I know it is for Aaron as well. So we're putting together some YouTube content, which is this time last year, I was employed. I had a job, I had one form of income, and we've now just hit 10 streams of income, some passive, some active. And that's been really, really important for us personally, professionally, because it not only gives us a chance to showcase to clients that we understand their industries. We have an Etsy store, we own property, we're now on Airbnb, like we understand their business, but also from a personal perspective, it's incredible. So on that side of things, it impacts us personally. And then secondly, as somebody who was employed for a very long time and, had one form of income, I really used my accounting skills and knowledge and Excel skills and knowledge to really map out, like my goal the entire way through my 20s was to buy a home. And Excel, literally having a spreadsheet, meant that we were able to do that. And James and I bought 2 houses within 12 months because we absolutely smashed it. We knew what our income was. We knew what our expenditure was going to be. And that's accounting applied to your personal life in a way that's really tangible and like you can see the benefits from it. So 100% it impacts every part of my personal life. It's almost like Aaron said, like there's not really a part of my life that is outside of work, but yes, I definitely talk about it outside of work. Mainly because I'm wearing a jumper that says catch falls, not feelings, and people are like, haha. But it impacts every part of your life in the best way. Like no part of that is negative, and it's made me a better person. I am inherently quite cautious with money. I'm from the north. So if you cut me open, gravy would come out. But I am a bit stingy. But it, like Aaron said, it definitely means that you sort of spend quite wisely, and again having insight into other people's businesses. You know how, what, where to spend your money because you're seeing other people who are most of the time more successful than you are doing it really well. So yes, huge impact on the personal life. I'm inherently very cautious with money, and yes, it's all I talk about. So yes, I talk about it outside of work.
I think the only thing I want to add to that though is kind of taking away our current positions and trying to think back to when we were employed and we had our, going through apprenticeships and all those sort of things. There are 2 bits that really does impact you there. The first one being that you've got to be prepared, like your holidays and things like that most kind of people who are in employment, because of your commitment to college and everything else, you may find that holidays are going to be used by just study, and that's just something to accept in the early stages. And it's not great and it's not wonderful, but it's just something you've got to be aware of. If depending on who you actually do your qualifications with, in our area, in who I did it with, is basically if you failed one exam, then you would have to take your holiday to retake that exam. It was as simple as that. So be prepared for that. And I think the other one, and a bugbear of mine that I definitely saw throughout growing up, was that whole idea that just because you're accountant means that everyone's going to be asking you to do the additions. So you play a game of pool or you play a game of darts.
Yeah, you got for a meal, you need to split the bill.
Apparently you are the one who's going to be able to do all that in your head. So just be prepared for that one. But just always take a calculator with you. That's the solution to that one.
I'd say as well, one of the benefits of being in an industry where everybody does the same exams, whilst it is difficult, it almost gives you like a shared bond with everybody in the industry because everybody has done it. And it is very difficult, but it almost is like a rite of passage that everybody has to go through. And like when you get to the other end, you're part of a club that not many people are a part of. Exactly. Ash has said gravy, ? Yes, gravy. Yeah. Chips and gravies is my thing. Cut me open, gravy comes out. So.
Yeah. I mean, what else have you had
Alrighty.
on
Next
chips?
question is there anything about your job which could be improved for you? Aaron, I'm the HR department. Talk to me.
Where do I start on this one? I mean, no. In all honesty, like when it comes to being an accountant, I think the one thing that you've just got to be mindful of is just knowing, and you've got to learn this yourself. Is like knowing what part of the industry that you've got that insight into. And that's the problem. Like when it comes to being an accountant, your client's going to expect you to know answer to absolutely everything, and you've got to know what it is that what your boundaries are, when they're gonna, what point you need to pass it on to maybe another person in your firm, or you pass it on to another accountancy firm, whatever the thing's going to be. And I think the one thing that I'd love to make more apparent is that expectation, or at least clients to understand kind of all the different aspects of it, because bless them, they think that just because your name is, you've got the word accountancy in your title, that you'll know everything from VAT all the way to capital gains, all the way to inheritance tax. And
Yeah.
you've just got to set those expectations with clients. But it is one of those things where it's going to be a conversation you're going to be having a lot, and you've got to be aware yourself as how far you can push that, and how what advice you can give without causing issues for your client, or or anything like that. And I think you've just got to be prepared to have those conversations. What about you, Rachel?
Okay, so the question is there anything about your job which could be improved? I love my job. I am sponsored by the accounting industry, and
literally.
One of the most difficult bits, and this actually can't be improved, but it is the most difficult bits for me personally. I'm a very anxious person, and I'm a worrier. Like, I really do worry.
Yeah.
And as a business owner that runs an accountancy practice, like, our life is dictated by deadlines, and actually it really does impact the client. It impacts it impacts everybody if a deadline is missed. And quite a lot of the time we do everything within our power to make sure nobody misses a deadline. And quite often it is generally client driven if a deadline is missed. And as you grow and it builds, like last week we hit 300 clients, which is amazing. But like, you go to sleep at night thinking, oh God, like it's so much responsibility. And I don't think that'll ever go away. And again, even in the video with our AAT apprentice yesterday, she was saying like, it's a lot at every level in the business. You have to prioritize these deadlines, and it can be very difficult. And I think there's a definite personality type which makes a great accountant, and that is ISTJ. And inherently, ISTJs are worriers. So yeah, here we are. Somebody has actually asked a question in the chat. So Hamid on LinkedIn has asked, I finished a degree in accounting and finance. Now I'm looking for opportunities, but wasn't able to secure a position yet. Need guidance as to how I can start with companies looking for experience. Also, what stuff should I look for other than job searching? That's a great question.
Very good question.
I think like work experience is a great opportunity for a lot of people. So a lot of people, if you don't have any practical experience, work experience, a lot of people look for. We take people on. I know Aaron takes people on. So work experience is a great opportunity. Aaron has content on his YouTube channel, and I have a lot of content on mine about like how to get a job in accounting if you don't have any experience. So I would definitely recommend you also check those out. And this is a topic that we have really, really pulled apart on the Going Concern. I'd say nearly every week.
Yeah, definitely. and it's right that the question's been brought up, because we've said a lot of times, and if you go back to some of the older which we've done, we're always talking about the fact that we wish we had a platform like this when we were studying and we were growing up. And that's what this is all about. Like, we want to give back to the community, because there is so many opportunities out there. And we've said it before, we'll say it again, there is so many different types of jobs within the accounting world as well. So, that work experience is so crucial, just to at least understand that, you may not want to be an auditor, but tax may be your thing, or whatever that's going to be. And without work experience, you're never going to really understand that and go from there. So, If it wasn't for
Right,
work
yeah.
experience, I would not be here. Put it that way.
Yeah. 100%. And I'd say in the meantime, like Aaron's just touched on, like maybe do some research about what part of the industry you would like to work in so that you
Yeah.
can really pitch for work experience in those areas and get your passion across when you do speak to people. Further than that, you could do lots of practical things like learn Excel a bit further, Xero, QuickBooks. I don't know of any other good accounting software, Xero and QuickBooks. And you could also, what was I going to say? Oh, you could also have a look and have a think about what exams you might like to do. So once you've got a degree, you can gain some really great exemptions from like CIMA, ACCA, and ACA. So within your further opportunities, you could then also think about what exams you'd like to do. Jess has just jumped in and said, working in industry is exciting too, not just working in practice. Working in industry is amazing. What industry do you work in, Jess? Please let us know what industry you work in, because Jess thinks it's great.
and actually, like I've known people get work experience working in industry as well, and it is that idea of, you know, helping out a small business that might just need that idea. You know, you could be an absolute lifesaver for them, and in return, they're going to give you a glowing reference that you're going to be able to take going forward. So,
have you ever worked in industry, Aaron?
I haven't worked in industry as such, but I know, like, I know what the industry kind of entails in terms of, being able to go in there and just actually come back with social media marketing. Ooh.
Oh, okay. Jess is cooler than us. Fine.
She even knows how to use her.
Jess is one of us. This is amazing. Yes, I have actually worked in industry, and I absolutely
loved it. Oh,
okay. Yeah, I have. So my job before I left to come and do this full time was I was the finance manager for a company that operated nursing homes and residential care homes, which I'd always wanted to find a way that I could put my heart into accounting and really choose something that made a difference. I do that now, and I really found a way to do that before through working in industry. So I have actually worked in industry. It is amazing, and you really become that like go-to point of contact. And whilst the variety in your tasks and the clients that you're working on isn't there, the opportunity to make a difference is almost greater because you are there all the time. So I'm with you, Jess. Industry is pretty cool.
And when you kind of, if you work just in practice, you do kind of get that kind of feeling, because when you kind of get with your clients and you're talking to not just the owner of the account of the particular client, but you're also talking to their bookkeeper or their finance manager or whatever that term is going to be, you really do start to, and especially in my early years, like those relationships I made with those I've still got today. Like there's still people out there who worked for, you know, medium-sized businesses, and we're still in touch, and we still have that thing, because for them, they love the fact that they can talk to, quote unquote, you know, another expert in the field who may be able to look at their systems in a different way and be able to give them some ideas and stuff. So it's a whole new world. Shall we jump on to that next question, which is actually very, very relevant, and actually might be a little bit more insight in what you've just said there. So, Rachel, what made you want to become an accountant?
The wild social scene within the industry is what made me want to be.
QuickBooks Con or whatever it is. QuickBooks Connect and Xero Con.
What made me want to become an accountant? I'm quite a practical person, so I always knew I was very good at maths. I did economics at A levels and really, really loved it. So I knew that I wanted to find something that really incorporated business and maths together. So I studied all the way up to A levels, applied for some universities and got unconditional offers, but then decided not to go. Curveball. Decided not to go. And I took an apprenticeship within the finance department of my local council, actually. So that was my first ever job in finance. But I chose the industry because it really, really matched my skill set. And then, from there, so Jess actually asked, why did you decide to go into practice? Was it so that you could set up your own business? So I did the majority of my training within practice. I trained at a top 100 firm in Oxford. I then moved over to industry and then came back to the dark side to do it on my own. And I'd say what made me come back and what made me want to actually run an accountancy practice was that in January 2020, I commenced my MBA, which is a master's degree in business. And oh boy, people told me doing an MBA will change your life. And I'm doing an executive MBA, so I do it part-time part-time in my spare time, lol. And yeah, I'm doing it part-time. So people told me it would change my life, and I thought, yeah, whatever. And yeah, within 6 months of being on the MBA, I just got itchy feet. My needs weren't being met there anymore. Like, I just had so many creative ideas, and like for the first time in my life, I felt like my career wasn't fixed or solid. Like, I'd always thought, like, you're an accountant, that's a very straight road and you're just an
Yeah,
accountant.
yeah, yeah.
And all of a sudden the MBA was teaching me strategic marketing, operations management, strategic HR, like how, putting different age groups of workers together can actually drive amazing change within businesses.
Yep,
And
yep.
I was being taught all of this stuff that meant that I wasn't just an accountant anymore. And it really sort of elevated my confidence to the point where I thought, like, no, I need to do something different. And Aaron and I's bond has always come from the fact that we really want to create change within the industry. So I'm definitely waffling. But Aaron, what made you want to become an accountant?
I didn't want to be an accountant one little bit growing up. I wanted to be a teacher. I had it all set out. My plans were afoot. But no, I was lucky enough to be offered a work experience as an accountant, and I loved maths. I thought that accountancy was very much maths related. You'll soon
Oh
soon
boy, were you
learn.
disappointed?
Exactly, yeah. Apparently, English is probably your most important skill set to bring to the world of accountancy. But yeah, I did some work experience at a local accounting firm. They offered me a job there and then. I thought, you know what? Let's do it. Let's go for it. See how it takes me. And then here I am. I'm, and I'll always remember actually part of the first job I ever had. I want to say like second year in. I will always remember being dragged into a meeting with the boss, and we were going through like preparing to meet a client or something. And back in those days, it was very much the boss would talk to the client, you wouldn't talk to the client.
Yeah.
So it was a kind of a handover, if you like. And I'll always remember him saying at that time, he says, "Oh, I get why you're asking this particular question, whatever it's going to be, but when you're running a practice, you don't want to ask it in this particular way. You want to be asking it in that way." And I went, "There's no way I'm going to be running a practice. That's not going to happen." So if I went back to the very beginning, I was never going to be an accountant, and I was never going to run my own accounting practice. And look where we are now. So yeah, it is one of those things where never say never. And the reason, the whys, and what it was that wanted me to become an accountant is that idea of helping businesses. And
Yeah.
when I first started as an accountant, my eyes were open in terms of actually we can make a difference here, and these numbers can actually help, and we can tell people and bring these in. And that's what really got me excited about it all. And throughout my career, it's always been, right, how can we find a way to help small businesses and help
Yeah.
businesses as much as we can? So yes, me and Rachel will be fighting with those pitchforks, and that's what we're trying to push forward. And yeah, that's what we want. Because there's nothing better than having that business that started as a little acorn, and now that is that tree. And you've had some small or significant aspect in actually making that happen. It's an amazing feeling. So highly recommend people, if they are looking to help small businesses, give the world of accountancy a stab and have a go at it.
Amazing. Somebody in the comments has offered, do you offer internships?
Ooh, what
We
about
do.
yourself?
Do you, Aaron?
We've not done an internship yet. No, we've still just stuck to kind of the work experience model, but it is something we will definitely consider in the future. But how's it been for you? What's the kind of benefits, would you say, of internships?
Yeah, I'd say for us as business owners, it's almost like more long-term work
Yeah.
experience, which
Yeah,
really,
exactly.
from us as a business owner, really gives us an opportunity to scale the business through leveraging internships and interns. And also as well, like as a growing and scaling business, we're expanding really rapidly. Like we'll be hiring new accountants every 6-7 weeks as we scale over the next couple of years. So if we've got people knocking on our door saying, please come and give me experience, like that's incredible. And, just join the queue of people that we'll hire in the future. So it's amazing. And I think, again, for Aaron and I, it's something that we're both really passionate about is training and being able to offer work experience in an industry that is inherently difficult, because we've both been there. and it is quite difficult. So we both definitely see it as our responsibility to give back and serve the accounting community and really open the doors. Yeah, we've had I actually got to the point recently where James was like, please can we just like I think we've had like 7 different people come for work experience in the last couple of months, and it just is, yeah, it's incredible. And you really do feel it in your heart that you're making a difference to people. And even if it is, you know, being able to give them an amazing reference or say, look, while you're here, like, let's have a look at your CV. What can we do to really upskill you during your time here? Like, what do you want to get out of the work experience? Because I can sit you and park you on a computer for a week, no problem. But what are the outcomes that you're looking for that we can provide you with? And for a lot of people, it's just the experience and the exposure and the just to sort of sit and be in the atmosphere. They absolutely love, and they get so much out of it. So really, really do, Mark, if you are looking for internships or work experience, like, just reach out to people. And we very often have it, even just between Aaron and I have it, where if someone comes to me for work experience and they're a bit more north and they can't get to our office, I'll say, Aaron, can you take somebody? Or I'll say to, you know, let me post about you on LinkedIn and let's try and find you somebody. So really do reach out to people, ask questions. People are always more open to helping you than they think you are. And worst case scenario, someone will say no, and that's okay.
Exactly. And like, for the bigger firms out there, they have their set internship policies, and they'll only take on certain dates. And, you know, if you're looking to get experience in that industry and for that particular role, then, you know, they're the ones you've got to be fighting for. But I think one of the benefits of going for a smaller organization like mine and Rachel's is the fact that we can offer you experience in literally the whole world of accountancy, apart from certain there's certain bits we can't, obviously, but, you know, you're getting to have a nice don't swear on the show. We said this is a family-friendly show, Rachel. But it's that idea that the whole point, and it's something we're really proud of when we offer the work experience and everything else. I'm sure Rachel the same. It's that whole exposure and trying to show everything that's related to it, because that's what's going to give them the opportunity to go forward and make a right decision about what they want to fight for, what sort of part of the accounting world they want to go into. So it's really important. And we recently did the Kickstarter scheme, and that's been a way of kind of giving people exposure to it and bringing people on. So there are schemes out there that can help people find their way into accountancy, which is more the better, and we're loving it at the moment. Is it mine? Oh no, it's your question now, isn't it?
I'm very excited for this one. Ladies and gents, why do you need an accountant? So somebody's asked, I'm a sole trader. I've been using spreadsheets up until now. I'm thinking of starting to use Xero or QuickBooks. Why do I still need an accountant if I use software? Mr. Aaron Patrick, take it away.
Hey, you don't need an accountant. Move on. So there are going to be certain circumstances for certain businesses out there where that is all you will ever need. If you've got the right software, you've got the right knowledge, and you've done the right kind of research. So there's wonderful videos on YouTube, both by me, Rachel, and other content creators out there. You most certainly can just, you know, use that experience, use that software, and be able to file your own returns, no problem. And in fact, HMRC are, one to a better word, are trying to promote that even more with the new Making Tax Digital. You know, that's what they want you to do. And at the end of the day, it's called self-assessment. It is supposed to be something that you as a individual complete and compile on your own. Why do you need an accountant? Well, it's about the added extras that can come with it. So the idea now is challenge yourself. Like, always challenge yourself. Why your need for an accountant shouldn't be just to file some statutory reports, because you should be able to either do that yourself, or you should be able to just find some, you know, some very cost-effective ways of doing that. But it's about challenging yourself to what can an accountant bring extra. You know, what added value is what we always talk about in the industry. It's about making sure that we do help those businesses and give them the opportunity to make it easier for themselves. If that's going to be taking away some administration burden for them, or actually helping them actually achieve their goals, whatever that's going to be, but that's what an accountant should be bringing to the table for you. So it's most definitely, you know, use well, spreadsheets is fine. You've only got a couple of years left of spreadsheets to answer the question fully. And if you are starting to use Xero or QuickBooks, I promise you, you'll find some massive time savings, and you'll find it a really good experience for you. And challenge yourself. Like, ask the question, what does that accountant bring to you? Is it added value or not? What about you, Rachel?
Yeah, I've spent my life telling people you don't need an accountant. Like, you should want one, I think is the best thing. And
Yeah,
I,
that
I
is a
think a
great way of
really
saying it. Yeah.
good, honest accountant will tell you that. So if you're working with an accountant that's just constantly upselling how important they are,
Yeah.
yes, we speak to so many prospects a week. And I tell everybody, just to make you aware, like you can do these things yourself. And I really do think it's important to tell people that, because the
Yeah.
last thing I want is a situation where 6 months down the line of working together, somebody's asking me those questions of like, why should I? So it's really my role at the very beginning of the journey to explain you don't need one, but this is why you probably will want one. Tax efficiency is, a top priority for lots and lots of business owners. So really making sure, like, we will challenge you as much as you challenge yourself. And there are lots of really great things that accountants can help guide and support you with that actually massively increase your tax efficiency. Further than that, we have a network. Like I said, recently we hit 300 clients, and that's a community and connections that you then can tap into. So if you are a growing, scaling business and you need a financial advisor, you need a mortgage advisor, you need a web developer, you need an SEO expert, tell me, I'll make an introduction. It helps me, it helps you, it helps our other clients. And it's not just accountancy services. It's like a friend, it's support, it's guidance, it's someone to WhatsApp a picture from HMRC and say, do I need to do anything with this letter? Like, that's what really it is.
Yeah.
And that's what it should be. And I would really encourage you that if your accountant has never told you that you don't need an accountant, they might be selling you stuff that you don't need. And like, even with payroll services, we always say, absolutely, we can provide payroll services for you.
Mhm.
But, just so you know, lots of our clients do it themselves, and we can show you and train you how to do it yourself for free. It's our job as small business owners, as other small business owners, to empower you to understand what you need, what you don't need, and actually when to make the decision on outsourcing, because that's a very difficult decision to make as a small business owner. And I'd say for our clients, one of the biggest things that an accountant can give you past the like financial benefits is peace of mind, and that's something that a lot of the time you can't put a price on. We've spoken today about the anxiety sometimes and the sort of weight that we carry. Like, let us carry it, not you. Yes, that is my answer. So the short answer, whoever submitted that question, is you don't need an accountant. But there are lots of reasons why you might decide that you want one.
Yeah, and also just be aware things are changing. Like, making tax digital is going to make it far more. There's going to be more administration burdens there for you that you don't want to miss out on, and you don't want to fall foul of. So yeah, maybe you don't need one now, but it could be a case of just keep an eye on what your personal circumstances are. And please, this is one of the things that I've come across more often than not at the moment, is don't just listen to the person in the pub. That's not going to be the solution to your answers. So yeah, if you are looking to get advice on your business, and please make sure that it's with someone who knows what they're talking about, because what you don't want to do is get misadvised and then end up spending way more money or causing you more issues down the line. That's not going to help you at all. We've got one more question, haven't we? Can't believe this. Okay, how do you balance studying for AAT while working at the same time? Rachel, take it away.
It's difficult. It's definitely difficult, but there are definitely practical things that you can do to make it a little bit easier. So planning, putting together a study plan that firstly doesn't make you miserable. I think it's really easy to be like, I'm just going to work at 110 miles an hour until I pass these exams because I don't want to do them anymore. And actually, quite often you'll burn out. You won't be able to keep the expectations that you've set for yourself. And one of the best things that you can do is actually set a realistic plan rather than the best case scenario plan. It'll give you a buffer. If ever you need to do a retake, it will give you time to do a retake. I literally used to schedule little squares of certain days of the week, and I literally used to write relax, and like giving yourself permission to relax while you're studying is very difficult. And even now doing the MBA, like when you're studying towards a qualification, it's something that you like physically feel that you're carrying around with you. And like every time you're doing something and having fun and not studying, there's guilt associated with it. So
Yeah.
something that I found really, really useful was having a study plan that actually told me to relax. And I had set time that I studied, set time that I didn't study. And it's actually one of the biggest reasons that I started the Study With Me live stream. Was like, I have a study schedule that I go live on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and all day on Saturday. And so it was to really give people guidelines of like, when I study, they can study with me so they don't feel alone, but also so they can see that I don't study every night of the week and I'm still doing fine. So I'd say rewarding yourself in relaxation, also food, massively. Like I literally used to sit with like a pack of biscuits and I was allowed a biscuit for every 20 minutes I did. I think it was great. I had a great time. I ate a lot of biscuits. What about you, Aaron?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I would say, and this is something we've been exploring a lot with our apprentices, is I mean, not necessarily saying that this is definitely apprenticeship here, but just make sure that if you are down that apprenticeship route, you find the right training package for you. Because one thing that the pandemic has brought in and has brought for the good is that there are now multiple ways in which you can train. Like you don't have to just go down the whole route of doing day release, for example, and actually physically going to a college and physically sitting in a college and utilizing that time. There are opportunities now to do more remote based, which could be either a live remote based or an on-demand remote based. So never before has there been so much opportunities and different ways in which you can train, and everyone's different. Like I personally, I don't think a remote based on demand solution would work for me. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fine. But there are definitely solutions out there that would work for my training style, and that's going to be the right for everyone else. So I love that idea of yours about accountability and having that and seeing what other people are doing. But I also just think about what training you are doing, and are you doing training that's working for you and your actual purpose? Because there are so many ways out there that you can train now, and there's going to be ways in which you're going to find it's going to work for you. So I really do like. I'm really impressed with how colleges have changed. Now, not all of them have done it for the better. We've had to disengage with a college because they're not. They were just basically taking what they would do in a classroom and just putting it online. That's not the solution.
Yeah.
But if you do find the right provider and the right way of doing it, then you're going to have a really, really good time that's going to work with your way of doing it. And I know AAT themselves, they're changing as well all the time. They're adapting, they're trying to make it so it's better. So I think, there are ways in which you can make it better for you. But just to kind of hark back to what we said before, the harsh reality is though that you will need to think about like your holiday use and things like that. That's just something while you're studying, just bear in mind, like you may not be able to use all of those holidays that you've got for actually physically going on holiday. You've got to be ready to utilize them if not.
Yeah. I'd say top tips would be, firstly, pace yourself. It's not a race, and that's something that's quite difficult to accept, because I feel like a lot of people in the accounting industry are definitely like overachievers. We're both like, everybody's quite academic because it is like a maths-based subject. We all love numbers and metrics, and like we're very competitive. Literally everybody that we work with, very competitive.
Yeah.
Firstly, pace yourself, and secondly, something that I didn't do but I have since, and I really wish I'd done it before AAT, and I did it within my MBA, is to actually understand, and it's something that you're not taught in school, understand how you learn best before you make a decision. In school, everybody's taught that learning is one straight line, it's fixed, and that's how it's done. But like, not everybody learns in the same way. Some people really take information in better in person. They have to be engaged, they have to be sat there, otherwise they won't be able to make themselves do it. Other people really like it online, so they can watch it and then watch it again and then listen to it again, and like go for a walk and listen to a lecture that you actually watched, and really do some work on yourself. There's lots of tests and personality tests and learning style tests that you can do for free online, and really sit down and map out like what part of studying makes you feel really confident and settled and happy, and actually use that to make a decision about where and how you'd like to study. But that's something that I didn't have done since, and really wish I'd done it before I did AAT.
And I think that pacing's important as well, isn't it? Because one of the things that throughout all of my professional exams that I had to be really mindful of is you will learn the subject, but then you're going to have to spend probably more time learning how to pass the exam, and they're totally different skill sets, aren't they?
Yeah, 100%.
And it is that idea of just pacing yourself and finding what balance you need, because again, everyone's going to be different. But for me, I needed way more time to learn how to pass an exam than I did to learn the subject and get to grips with the subject. And I think that's something you've got to be mindful of. And when you are spending that time, especially with your work-life balance, you need to give yourself enough time, because the worst thing is you're going to be just like in the work scenario, you're going to be deadline driven, because there is a certain date you're going to be taking that exam, and there's going to be a certain date when you need to be ready for it. So yeah, just give yourself that opportunity. But great question though, and I'm hoping it's questions like that where people will really get some useful knowledge going forward, and more people can pass their AAT going forward.
Yes,
brilliant. And with that, Rachel, it's 50 minutes in. We've already gone through the question. I can't believe it. Another 2 weeks gone. As Ashley said at the very beginning, where did that 2 weeks go? Or where did that
absolutely.
last 50 minutes go is more important. Okay. So thank you for the questions, everybody. If you are listening via the podcast, don't forget to follow us on the social channel so you can join us live on one of our future episodes, which is in 2 weeks' time, right? Isn't it, Rachel? That is right.
Absolutely. We are back on the 12th of August. We would love to see you there. Please don't forget to submit your questions via the link that I am right now putting in the chat.
Fantastic. So, Rachel, before we leave, then let's have a little sneak peek around the curtain behind the backstage. Have you got any videos or anything planned for next week? Is there anything we should be looking forward to on your social channels?
Yes. So today's video was Come to a Client with me. So me and James have been doing some amazing work with a client who actually runs a water park. So today's video is a day in the life. I actually pushed myself outside of my comfort zone. I did a get ready with me. I don't know who I think I am. But yeah, that's today's video. Next week's video, I am so excited about. It's something that's been requested literally hundreds of times. It is a day in the life of an AAT apprentice. So if you haven't already, I'd love you to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you get a notification when that video drops, because I can feel it. It's a good one. What about you, Aaron?
Well, just to say, on videos that have just been released, I'm really proud of my team because they've put their first video together all by themselves, and it's come out really, really well. So very subject heavy for what we've just been talking about. It's all about AAT, what their thoughts of it, some pro tips. In fact, I think it's 17 questions off the top of my head.
Wow.
About AAT. So great piece of content, that one. Me personally, I've got some content coming out regarding some less exciting things. I've got projects within QuickBooks Online. Ooh, it doesn't get exciting, that. And how to turn VAT on. So some more practical tips coming your way. But yeah, I need to, I say this every single time we sit down and have this, but I need to get myself into gear and actually start doing the day in the life of, because yeah, highly requested on my channels as well. So Rachel, that's it. I think that's everything. It's been a great little session. Thank you to everyone who's joined in today. I think the only thing we've got to say is a goodbye from me.
Yeah, goodbye from me.
Cheers, everyone. We will see you in 2 weeks' time. And as always, I'm now frantically trying to find the outro button. Cheers, all. Bye.
Bye.